Today I have a complete Easter dinner for you from start to finish. We have the main dish, all the fixins, eats with Twan style. Come on, let's go. That's about to be amazing. I had to bring the champagne out for this one. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more recipes from Eats with Twan. Cheers, because this is about to be amazing. So let's go. I'm going to start this dinner series off with making my collard greens. Don't worry, the measurements and the shopping list will be in the description. I'm going to use a pressure cooker to cook the collard greens. It's basically going to cut my cooking time in half. To start off, I'm going to go ahead and render down some bacon. Rendering down this bacon is going to produce some good old bacon fat, which is going to help with this good old pot of collard greens. Now I'm adding in some chopped onions in there. Remember, I will have all of the ingredients in the description for you to follow for each and every recipe. So I'm just going to stir in the chopped onions until it's translucent. Add the garlic last, simply because the garlic will burn if you put it into early. Alright, so go ahead and stir, and you want to make sure we get all of that fond at the bottom of that pan. Well, Instapot. I'm going to season it up. I'm going to go ahead and add some Cajun seasoning to that, just a little bit, some black pepper, because we want to make sure we have a good old pot liquor for this. So stir to combining. As you can see, I'm scraping the fond off of the bottom of that Instapot. That is going to produce all of the flavor we need for our pot of collard greens. Alright, so this is going to be amazing. Now you will need apple cider vinegar for this recipe, so go ahead and add that to your pressure cooker. Now moving on to the star of this dish, the collard greens. Whether you're using a bag of collard greens or fresh collard greens, you do want to make sure it's cut and washed properly. Alright, now adding half of the collard greens to the pressure cooker. Then I'm going to go ahead and put my smoked turkey necks in the middle of the collard greens. Alright, that's very important. Don't put it on the top, put it in the middle when you're using a pressure cooker. Alright, it's going to help tenderize that meat. Now I am adding some chicken broth to this. Now this is about 2 cups, but again, like I told y'all, I will have everything in the description for you to follow. Now after I add the chicken broth, I am going to add the remaining collard greens on top of that, just like that. Now for a little kick, you can go ahead and add some red chili flakes to that, just to give it a nice little kick. That is totally up to you. It is optional, but I do like mine just to have a little bit of heat, okay? Now I am going to go ahead and pressure cook this on high heat for 30 minutes and natural release for 15. Now, while the collard greens are cooking in the pressure cooker, we are going to go ahead and prepare the lamb. Now, as you can see, my lamb is already cut. Now, it was cut from the grocery store like that. I had to buy 2 separate racks simply because lamb is scarce right now. It is Easter Sunday. Now, I am going to go ahead and cut the lamb down the middle of each of the bones, just like that, and I will remove the excess fat. You don't want too much fat. Now, you do want to make sure you have a sharp knife so that way you can cut right down the middle, just like that. So just follow the bone and the meat, and it should cut perfectly. Now as you can see here, I am taking the excess fat off of my lamb chops simply because I do not want it to burn, and I definitely want a good sear on the meat. Alright, now just like with bacon fat or duck fat, we can use as lamb fat for another creative recipe, so go ahead and save that and just freeze it. Look at our lamb chops, are cut perfectly and ready to be seasoned. Hit your lamb chops with some olive oil or some avocado oil, just like that. Then we are going to hit it with some Cajun seasoning, just a little. I will have all of the measurements in the description for you to follow. Now, add a pinch of salt, not too much, because remember the Cajun seasoning has sodium. I'm going to hit it with some onion powder, some garlic powder, just like that. We're going to mix this up. It's going to be seasoned very well. Then I am going to hit it with some complete seasoning, just a little. And from there, Yes, smoked paprika. We definitely need it for some color and some flavor. Some black pepper, just like that. Now, once you add the seasoning in there, you want to go ahead and mix just like that. You want to make sure everything is nice and coated well, even the bone. I'm telling you, you want to make sure everything is coated perfectly. Now you can let this marinate in the fridge, but just remember to take this out a good 30 minutes before you cook them, alright? Season perfectly. Now we're going to make a pork chorizo dressing. This is going to be so good. Now I am going to go ahead and cut up some celery stalks, about 2. I will have the ingredients and the shopping list in the description for you to follow. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and set my chopped celery to the side. Now I have my bell peppers. I bought from the store. They were already chopped. Listen, we like to make it easy, not hard. Alright, we're not going to work too hard in the kitchen. Now here is my pork chorizo. I'm going to walk you through this. It's going to be so simple and so easy, and there's a nice twist to the traditional dressing recipe. Now I am going to go ahead and break this chorizo sausage up, and the heat is going to be on medium-high heat during this entire process. Alright, now a standard skillet will work for this. That's all you're going to need, nothing too special. Alright, now pork chorizo produce a lot of excess fat. As you can see, you see all that grease. Typically we would drain that, but we're going to put that right in the dressing. Alright, we are going to cook this for 6 to 7 minutes on medium-high heat until it's completely done. Alright, now once it's completely done, go ahead and set that aside, but do not clean your skillet out. Go ahead and add 2 whole sticks of butter. Now once the butter melts, you do want to make sure the heat's on medium-high heat. You do not want to brown the butter. Alright, that's when the heat is too high. To that, we are going to add our chopped onions, and remember, all of the ingredients will be in the description. We are going to let that butter soak up in the onions and let the onions become translucent. We do want to add our celery and our bell peppers to that mixture. We're going to allow everything to combine together. Now stir to combine, and we want to make sure everything becomes translucent just like that. Turn the heat off, add in your cornbread stuffing mixture. Now this is prepackaged. As you can see, we are saving some time with this recipe. We're not adding no additional seasoning to that because we have the chicken broth, which you see here, and we have the chorizo pork sausage. That is going to be enough. That's all we're going to need for this, and it's going to be spectacular. Alright, go ahead and make sure you allow that cornbread to soak up all of that flavor just like that. Remember, we didn't clean the skillet out, that fond at the bottom of the pan. Then we add in the chorizo just like that. Stir to combine, and listen, this is going to be a 10 out of 10. Now make sure you get your nice greased baking dish. Go ahead and add your dressing to it just like that. We're going to pop that in the oven, but before we do, like this video and subscribe to the channel, and a big thank you for sticking with me thus far. Alright, now you do want to cover this dish while it's baking. Alright, so for the first, I would say 30 minutes, keep it covered. The last 15 minutes, take it off so the top can harden. Alright, now let's check on our collard greens. Woo! We got a nice big old pot of hot collard greens. Now this reduced perfectly. Now look at that. You have your collard greens, you have your smoked turkey necks. Look, the meat is basically falling off the bone, as you can see. Now I am going to try to sneak a little piece, but as you can see, that thing was really hot. Now be careful with that. Now listen, our collard greens is done. You can just keep it warm and move on to your next thing. Next up on the menu, we have that smoked gouda mac and cheese. Start off by boiling some water. You will need rapidly boiling water to cook your pasta. Now, the pasta choice is up to you. I am using celatini pasta. You can just simply use elbow. I prefer celatini. It's just a cut of the pasta. It tastes the same, all right? Now, I went ahead and let that boil and cook until it's al dente. Then I am going to go ahead and shred the cheese. I prefer to shred my own cheese. It just gives more of a creamier texture than buying the bag cheese. All right. Now we are going to make a roux for this on medium-high heat. Melt a stick of butter, and you will need some all-purpose flour. You want to make sure you cook that flour completely through. You don't want no chunks or lumps in there at all. All right. So just like you see here on the screen, it should be a little frothy. Now, once you cook out the flour, add your cheese to that mixture, just like you see here on the screen. And remember, I will have the full measurements and the shopping list in the description for you to follow. Now, I am going to go ahead and stir in my smoked Gouda cheese with my roux, just like that. And we are basically making our cheese sauce for the smoked Gouda mac and cheese. Now I am adding some more cheese to that. Now this is a mixture of cheeses here that I am adding. Then I'm going to add some whole milk to that. This is going to start to build our cheese sauce. Alright, and remember your heat is on medium-high during this process. I am adding some heavy cream to that, just like that, and I'm going to stir to combine. While the heat is on medium-high heat, I'm going to allow the cheese to melt, stirring constantly. Again, stirring constantly. We do not want the cheese to burn. As you can see, it's sticking to the spoon and it's nice and cheesy. Now let's go ahead and season this bad boy up. Lower the heat to medium. To that, go ahead and add some garlic powder, some onion powder, just like that. This is just building the flavors. Now some black pepper, just like that. Then I am going to hit it with a tad bit of Cajun seasoning. And of course, smoked paprika. Now stir to combine. As you can see, the color of our cheese sauce has a nice darker tone to it. That means that flavor's in there. So let's go ahead and stir to combine just like that. Woo, look at that cheese. That thing looks so good. Alright, now we are going to go ahead and add our pasta. That's the celatini pasta or your elbows pasta if you decide to use that. Now go ahead and stir to combine. As you can see, it looks so good. Now the goal is to make a creamy mac and cheese. As you can see, it's pretty much done right here, but I prefer my mac and cheese baked. So we are going to go ahead and bake this. As you can see, it's nice and creamy, nice and cheesy. Look at that smoked Gouda mac and cheese. Now go ahead and add some sour cream to that. Now this is going to give it a nice punch. You're not going to taste sour cream in your mac and cheese. It's just going to combine very well with the cheese and the seasoning. Go ahead and stir to combine just like that. Then we are going to get ready to bake this in the oven along with the dressing. In the greased baking dish, go ahead and add your mac and cheese just like that. Go ahead and pack it on in there. We are going to bake it along with the dressing. That's a beautiful part about it. The dressing and the mac and cheese can bake both on 350. Now the mac and cheese, you only going to need it in the oven for about 30 minutes. The dressing is about 45 minutes, but again, same temperature. So go ahead and add some more cheese on top before you bake it, just like that. We need a nice cheesy crust. All right, now I added some smoked paprika for color for the top, and then we're going to go ahead and pop that in the oven. Listen, we're doing pretty good, so we deserve a champagne break just like that. Now, this also gives you a break to go ahead and like this video and subscribe to this channel for more recipes. So let's go ahead and finish up. Now, we are making candied sweet potatoes, not candy yams, candied sweet potatoes. Listen, I'm not even going to get into that. That's a whole nother video. Now, go ahead and make sure you wash and peel your sweet potatoes. You are going to cut these into 1/2 inch slices just like that. Now take your sweet potato slices, put that in an even layer in a heavy bottom skillet, okay? Just like that. Now even layer is very important, okay? Because we are going to do stovetop candy sweet potatoes. Alright, even layer just like that. I'm taking my 1/2-inch slices. This was about 2 large sweet potatoes. Now once you have the even layer, you are going to add the sugar. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get it candied. This is going to be a 1/2 cup of white sugar, granulated white sugar, and to that we are going to do 1/2 cup of packed brown sugar. You can adjust to your liking if you want more sweetness, less sweetness. Is your recipe. I'm only here to guide you. Alright, so 1/2 and 1/2 is what I did. To that I added some ground cinnamon, just like that. Then I hit it with a splash of nutmeg, alright? Just a splash. Nutmeg is very powerful. Pure vanilla extract, just like that. And again, I'll have the measurements in the description for you to follow. Now optional, I add some rum to that. This is optional, but trust me, it's a 10 out of 10. You will definitely enjoy that. Then I added about a teaspoon of water. That's all you're going to need. Now add 1 stick of salted butter, just like that. Salted butter, you definitely want to have a bite. Now put this on medium-high heat for 30 minutes and you will crack the lid so it can steam, and you will flip halfway through the cooking process. Now we have mashed potatoes up next. We're going to go ahead and take our mashed potatoes. Wait a minute. Look, that's the champagne talking. We're going to go ahead and take our Yukon Gold potatoes, peel them just like that. We're going to make sure they are nice and cleaned. We're going to go ahead and peel them, and then we are going to cut them into quarters just so that the potato can boil and cook quickly. Instead of boiling whole potatoes, it will take more time. Alright, so just use that as a tip. Go ahead and cut them into nice chunks. Roughly chop them up, and we're going to go ahead and boil that. Now in some cold water, go ahead and add the potatoes to cold water, then heat up the pot so that way they can boil. Don't add the potatoes to hot water, alright? Now bring to a boil, and you do want to add some salt to the water because whatever's in the water will be in the potatoes, alright? Now while that's boiling, we are going to go ahead and check on our candied sweet potatoes. Look at that, fork tender. Woo, look at that. I wanted to eat one so bad, but we're not finished just yet. We're going to go ahead and make a nice sauce, alright? Well, we already have the sauce made. We just going to basically thicken this sauce, okay? Now, once you have your sweet potatoes removed from the skillet, make sure the heat is on medium-high heat. Add some good old maple syrup, just like that. Let that sauce thicken just like that. Now, look how thick that sauce got. Woo! Now, once that sauce thickens, pour it right over those candied yams. As it cools slightly, it's going to thicken even more, and it's going to be so amazing. It will be a crowd pleaser. Just look at that sauce. Woo! That thing is amazing. And just look how it glistens in the light. And there you have your candied sweet potatoes. Now, while those candied sweet potatoes chill out and keep them warm, we are going to go ahead and take the potatoes off the stove, and we are going to go ahead and break up those potatoes. It's nice and fork tender. We are going to add a whole stick of butter into that. Now we are going to stir to combine, and we will need to return it to the heat so we can combine everything and finish up our mashed potatoes. Now I am going to go ahead and add some heavy cream, and remember, you got that right. All of the ingredients will be in the description along with the measurements. Yes, that's a big old heaping spoonful of sour cream. Go ahead and stir to combine, and we are going to make some amazing, delicious mashed potatoes to go with our other menu items. Now once I have that all combined, I will add some grated Parmesan Romano cheese to that. That will thicken up the mashed potatoes just like that. And just look, it's coming together very well. And I have this heat on medium as I'm combining everything, alright? Now, since this video has so many recipes, I just wanted to keep it simple for you. I will have the seasoning mixture in my bio. I added some Italian seasoning along with my seasoned blend. Very simple. I added some minced garlic to that, just like that. Stir to combine, and then you have your delicious mashed potatoes. Just look at that. I prefer a little lump in my mashed potatoes. You can smooth it on out if you prefer. Now we are taking our dressing out of the oven along with our mac and cheese. Look at that, perfect. We have our chorizo dressing, then we have our creamy smoked gouda mac and cheese. Listen, they are ready to go. So go ahead, set them aside, keep them warm, because we still got a couple more items to address, all right? Now to go with our red snapper, we are going to make some yellow rice. This is going to be a nice complement to the dish. In a saucepan, add some neutral oil along with your bell peppers that are chopped. Some green, yellow, and red to add some color to this amazing dish that we're about to make. Medium-high heat, add some onions to that, just like that. Now saute that until everything is translucent from your onions, yellow peppers, your green peppers, your red peppers. You want to make sure everything combines very well and it becomes translucent. Go ahead and add some minced garlic to that. And a pack of sazon. Alright, and again, I will have all of the ingredients in the description for the recipes for you to follow along with the measurements. Okay, now stir to combine. Now that sazon is going to give the color to the rice. Okay, now to that I will add some chicken bouillon or bouillon cube. Stir to combine. You just want to make sure all the seasonings blend well with your peppers and your onions, just like that. So just take your time with it. Heat should be still on about medium high heat. To that, add some cleaned long grain white rice. This is about 2 cups. I like to toast my rice before I start to cook it, meaning boil the rice. Alright, so I'm toasting the rice along with the seasoning, and everything's going to be so amazing. Alright, so just toast it just a cup, about 30 seconds or so. Now add 2 cups of water. I like to do a 1-to-1 ratio for the rice. So 2 cups of rice, 2 cups of water. Now once the rice comes to a boil, turn the heat on low and cover it and let it simmer for about 25 minutes. Now preheat your air fryer to 380 degrees Fahrenheit. We will assemble the basket with our delicious seasoned lamb chops. Now, cooking times will vary. It will depend on how you like your lamb. If you like your lamb rare, medium, or well done, times will range between 6 to about 12 minutes in the air fryer at 380 degrees. While those lamb chops are in the air fryer, we are going to move on to our red snapper. This is going to be amazing, and it's our last menu item. Now, I went to the seafood market. I got a whole red snapper, clean, gutted, got the fins taken off. Listen, let them do the dirty work for you. Now, you can keep the head on if you like, or you can have the head taken off. That's totally up to you. As you can see, it's cleaned and ready to go. I am going to start off with some neutral oil. This is some avocado oil. Just like that, front and back, and just make sure it's all over the fish so our seasoning blend can adhere to the actual fish. It don't matter when you do it, but you do want to make sure you do score the fish just like that. You want to score it on both sides. And again, you don't want to cut all the way through. You just want to cut it just enough so the seasoning blend can go and permeate through the actual whole fish. Now, this is a different angle to show you how deep I go when I am scoring the fish. Again, I'm not going all the way down to the bone, just enough so the seasoning can go through the fish, alright? And that is a beautiful piece of fish, okay? Now, this is my seasoning blend. Now, you know where to find the seasoning blend. We've been talking about this whole video, okay? We went through this already, okay? Now, I am doing, putting the seasoning on the fish, front and back, side to side. On the inside, we want to make sure the seasoning goes everywhere. Not too much, and the seasoning blend is a perfect pairing for this fish. Now, get a baking sheet with some parchment paper, and you do want to put the fish on top of the parchment paper. We will roast the fish on top of the parchment paper. Now, get some lemon slices. Add the lemon slices to the inside of your red snapper, just like that. Add some fresh thyme to that, and there you have it. You have a well seasoned red snapper with your lemon slices, your thyme. This is going to roast beautifully in the oven at 425 for about 25 minutes. Guess what? Our lamb is finished. We let the lamb rest for 15 minutes. Once it's finished in the air fryer, and there you have it. You have your air fryer lamb chops, beautifully seasoned and ready to go. And then the fish is finished. Look at that. Ooh, that white meat from the fish. This thing looks amazing. Folks, we're at the finish line. It's time to plate and eat. I'm hungry. Now, I have a couple serving dishes, so I'm just going to walk you through plating. I have a deep baking dish. I am putting the yellow rice down, and on top of the yellow rice, I'm going to go ahead and put that delicious roasted whole red snapper. Look at that piece of fish. That thing was so moist and like delicious. Now we are taking some microgreens and we are putting the microgreens on another serving dish, just like that. What are we putting on top of those microgreens? You got that right. We're putting our lamb chops right on top of those microgreens, just like that. Now I am playing around with it. I want a nice photo. It's going to be aesthetically pleasing, and guess what? It's going to taste even better. All right, so I'm going ahead and put those lamb chops right on the table for my guests. To that, I'm going to add, let's see what we got next. Voila. Now we have our mashed potatoes, with the butter on top. Then we have our good old collard greens with the smoked turkey necks, just like that. Let's move that to the side because guess what we have? We have our chorizo stuffing, just like that. Now look at that chorizo stuffing. Now, folks, we cannot forget the smoked gouda mac and cheese. Ooh, look at that. Cannot wait to dig into that. Then we have the candied sweet potatoes. Folks, we have a full spread for Easter Sunday. We did it from start to finish. It was simple, easy, and delicious. Now, take a look at this table setup. Listen, go all out with it. Enjoy your family and friends this holiday season. Thank you for tuning in to Eats with Twan. This is my first ever Easter Sunday dinner. I appreciate it. Cheers to you guys. I'm going to finish drinking the champagne, and I'll see you guys in the next recipe video.